Of course you are. All right. So day 2, we're going to talk about PEMDAS. PEMDAS. You guys know what PEMDAS is? Okay. What's the P? P. How do you spell parentheses? I spelled it wrong for 2 hours. And
PER.
See, I thought it was AR.
I don't know.
So it'd be E, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Parathen
I know English.
parentheses. That's why I don't even know how to spell it.
I don't know English.
Parentheses. Parentheses. So I became a math teacher. I can't spell.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I can't spell. 2 master's degrees, and I can't spell parentheses. Parentheses. Parenthesis. What is the? This is great for the video that I'm going to make. All right, E. Exponents.
M.
Exponent. Uh-oh. Is there a T there? Exponent. You spelled it wrong?
No.
Exponent. I think that's actually the way you do spell it. Now you guys got me confused. All right. What's MD stand for?
Me.
Medical doctor? Huh?
Me.
Multiplication.
Oh, I don't know why I was thinking like medium, but like.
See, I was joking around and being sarcastic, but you were.
No, like that actually like.
Makes sense.
All right, so multiplication.
The English and the math,
I think I told you guys this yesterday. I hate English. Just hate it. I hate writing. So multiplication and division are like on the same level, so you go left to right. You don't do this multiplication before that division. You got to go left to right, like English.
All right, I got this one there.
As.
It's addition and subtraction.
All right, there we go.
Bam. Put it up high. That was like easy.
How do you spell subtraction?
Subtraction.
So
Like track and
We're
then
not like
TI.
track like sport. Like, things don't put
Track. With a T.
That's.
thank you,
That's right.
thank you very much.
Is this gonna be
And we go over this in Algebra 2 because we get into more difficult problems, and this whole idea of PEMDAS seems to release itself from students' brains. Because we actually do get into more complicated problems, and we start actually having a few more things than just exponents. We get square roots and whatnot. Okay. So it's really important to keep that in mind. And the problems get more complicated, right? All right, so let's look at number 1. We're going to apply some PEMDAS here. Now, I'm going to write out every single step. If I were you, I wouldn't, you're not going to write out every step. It's just too much time for too much work for one problem. But I'm going to do it for teaching purposes, okay? So I'm going to do parentheses first. So I have 2 squared. I'm going to rewrite everything that's there, times 3 minus. I'm going to do what's in parentheses first, which is 6 plus 1, 7. Okay, then I'm going to go down my list here. The next thing I'm going to do is exponents. I'm going to do the exponents. So 2 squared is 4 times 3 minus, I'm going to drop these because there's nothing more to do. 7. What's my next step? multiply. Multiply 4 times 3 is 12, minus 7. And what does that equal? Easy, right? Piece of cake. Easy peasy. Okay, number 3. I have 2 times the so I'm only going to be concerned about the parentheses for now. In the parentheses, I have 18 divided by 3 minus 3 plus 5. Which one do I do first? Division first, right? Division is above multiplication, adding and subtracting. So divide 18 by 3 is 6. And again, I'm going to write this all out for teaching purposes. Minus 3 plus 5. So now I can do what's in the parentheses because addition and subtraction is same level, right? 6, and I'm going to go left to right. 6 minus 3, 3 plus 5 is 8. And now I have 2 times 8. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do 4 because I know how much students love fractions. You guys just absolutely love them, especially when we add and subtract them, right? Which is either tomorrow or Monday's lesson. Oh, you guys just love them. I bet you I could give you guys, you know what? I got a quiz. We'll take 2/5 plus 3/4. That'll be tomorrow's
I'll
quiz.
take any quiz that's multiple choice.
We teach you that, what, in 4th grade?
Yeah.
3rd grade? How to add and subtract?
I think we remember that.
Exactly. You guys never use that, right? Ever. So that's why that game show, you're smarter than a 5th
Yeah,
grader.
but like,
That's why adults can't do it because it's not fresh in their minds. All right, so number 4 is a fraction. And there's all different kinds of ways to do fractions. If this entire fraction was in parentheses, we would do that first. Okay. What I like to do to make my life easier is do the numerator and then do the denominator separate, then divide them out. Okay. So my numerator, 1 plus 4, 5. Then looking at the denominator, I have to do what's in the parentheses first, right? So 3 minus 2, 1. And then I've got that 6 minus, right? So 6 minus 1 is 5. See how I did this separate? Now I go back and divide it out. Anything divided by itself is. All right, number 5. Oh, yesterday when I told you guys, when I was explaining the difference between algebraic expressions and algebraic equations, with the expression, we either simplify it or we can actually get a number by substituting in values. So we do what's called evaluate, right? So we're going to evaluate these because they give us numbers for the variable. We're going to use substitution. So looking at this, they say, hey, x, you're going to use 3. So I'm going to go ahead, wherever I see an x in the problem, I'm going to substitute in the value 3. And wherever I see a y, I'm going to go ahead and substitute in the value 3. Now, I know this is an easy problem, but it's really good. This is one thing you should do. Try to get in the habit of, wherever you see a variable, put it in parentheses, okay? So rewrite the entire problem. 3. I'm going to rewrite that variable, x. I'm going to substitute, so I'm going to put parentheses there. Minus, I got a y here, so I'm going to use parentheses. And then I'm going to go back and put my values in. 3 for x, 3 for y. This is very helpful when you put this in a calculator, okay? Because now fractions are a little different, but you could put this in a calculator and get the right answer. Your calculators, and I'll show you maybe in the next problem or two what it actually does. Okay, it really follows this PEMDAS thing very strictly, and it can kind of mess you guys up. Okay, then I go ahead and do my PEMDAS. Do the multiplication first, right? So I've got my 3 times 3, 9, minus 3, 6. Okay, number 7. So here's my x. Value for x is 6, so I'm going to go back and substitute in that 6 for x. Here's my y, is 4. Wherever I see a 4, I'm going to put that value in for 4. And then here's my 2, z, I'm sorry. I'm going to substitute in that 2 for z. Okay. So here's my fraction. Nothing we're going to do with the denominator yet. My numerator, I'm going to go ahead and put in my parentheses for z, my parentheses for y, my parentheses for x. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and fill in my values. So my z was 2. Oops, wrong color. My y was 4. And my x was 6, right? Okay, so my 4 is not going to change yet. So I'm going to do what's in parentheses. So I have 2 minus, I'm going to keep them in parentheses for now. 4 minus 6, negative 2. I'm going to go ahead and get my numerator down to one number. 2 minus negative 2 changes it to a plus, right? 4 over 4. Then I'm going to reduce or simplify my fraction. Do you see how these get complicated more and more as we go? All right, number 9. Okay, so we got our k, negative 4, right? So I'm going to go ahead and replace wherever I see a k, I'll replace it with a negative 4. And my h is negative 6, and I think I only have the one h.
Can you just put that into the calculator? Like by itself?
If you put these in parentheses, yes. I mean, let me show you. Okay, here's my k.
Like put
Hang on. Let me finish. There's my other k. And my h. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer your question in a minute. My k is negative 4. And my h is negative 6. Okay. Now, you asked me, can I just put this in a calculator just like that? Yes and no. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the inside the parentheses. Negative 4 plus 1 is, yeah, squared. -4 minus a -6, this changes to plus. So I have a +2. And here's why I say you got to be careful with a calculator. If I plug in -3 squared in a calculator, what do I get? Huh? Nope. -9. If I just put this in a calculator, I'm going to get -9. Now, if I do this in a calculator, what am I going to get? Brianna? Positive. And you're saying, well, why is that? Remember what I told you about calculators? There's no artificial intelligence. They have to follow PEMDAS. So what are they doing here? Well, there's no parentheses. So they're going to go to the next step, exponents. So your calculator is going to go, oh, I'm going to keep that negative sign there and do 3 squared. That's what your calculator is going to do. If you put it in parentheses, it's actually going to take -3 times -3 to get that +9. Okay, so to go back to your original question, can't we just put this in a calculator? Yes, you can, but you got to use parentheses. Okay? Most of the times I can catch it on your quizzes, and I say most of the times, but there are going to be times where we get into harder stuff and you will not get the same answer as me. And if I don't remember this, did he or she put parentheses around the negative number before the exponent? I may take a point off. So you don't want to do that, okay? Like I said, 90% of the time I do catch it, but there are times where I don't. So -3 squared is -3 times -3 is 9, +9. Now this is multiplication times 2, and I get 18. Whereas if you forgot the parentheses here, this would be -9, be -18. And that would be an easy one for me to figure out. Does that make sense? So please be careful. Your calculators you need to be really, really strict with those. By the way, I don't have a calculator sign up sheet yet. Everybody is assigned the number, so you're responsible for it for the class time and period. I haven't done that yet. If you need a calculator, just take one. Make sure you put it back. I'll have that all set up tomorrow. Now, let me talk a little bit about calculators.